Hello, good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us. This is Heartlines, our space where we talk all things relationship, love, friendship, marriage, everything you name it, as long as it has to do with human beings, who are talking about it here. And I'm going to be your host for the evening. My name is Osayuame Sali, and of course, I'm not going to be doing this alone. I have the delectable, the Mr. Handsome. Shay, every time I see that your picture, I say, wait,
That picture, that one is down. They
that
shake.
picture is one hit
Cause,
wonder. Shay
they
is here with
shake.
me in studio. That picture, I don't understand. Like, I'm sure
Nah,
you've gotten a lot of business deals
that picture is not shaking.
at all.
Until you
That's the
finish it.
picture that you can
When
use
I
to
want
run
to
for governor.
contest, when I want to contest, I will bring that picture back and we'll use it.
I'm telling you,
Uh, uh,
that's the correct picture.
you know
How are
what?
you doing?
I'm good. I'm not bad. There seems to be like some sort of flu flying around.
I'm telling you, Shay,
I'm
I had my own fair share. I'm
good.
just recovering. So I'm just trying to take my life one day at a time because now we
Please,
dey alive. Now
please.
I
Oh.
go do Hotlines. I mean, know so.
Yes. Oh.
And we have
Now get out.
Chente.
Go do lines.
Now we get hearts go do lines. Chente has joined us via Zoom. Hi, Chente. How are you?
Hello. Good evening,
Good
everyone.
evening.
It's always great to be here.
Yes,
And
sir.
I'm truly missing Franca because she knows how to tease me. As you are teasing Sheyi now, she knows how to say Chente, and I will just be smiling.
Don't worry. I'm going to tease you.
Franca,
Your
go
own
and
is
come
coming.
back.
But
Oh.
I hope you did not catch any flu like us, so because I've
No.
been under the weather for the past week. I mean, it wasn't funny. I hope you're
I'm so
fine
sorry
and you're not
about
catching
that.
anything. Only
No.
feelings.
I'm actually fine. I'm actually fine.
Awesome. You're not catching flight. Are you catching flights or feelings? Which one?
Not yet. Feelings, I would say maybe, but flights. I'm indoors this period. I don't want to be.
Chanting that was always going for. Well, the one saying, you're going to do soft boy life. Enjoy
Yes,
yourself.
now, no, soft boy life is my life, but I think throughout last month, which was like, you know, uh, 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 June, that's Men's Mental Health Month, I took out time to pamper myself. Oh my God. See skincare, see trap, I did everything, and now my account is red. So I just want to rest for now.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. At least, I mean, it was worth the spending.
Indeed. Yes, it
Yeah.
was.
So I wanted to start the conversation because tonight we're discussing. I mean, this topic is quite interesting. It says what triggers extreme emotions after breakup. Um, First of all, Chente, have you really had a bad breakup? First, let's even start from there.
So I wouldn't say I've had a bad breakup, but I would say I've had a messy fallout,
Mm,
right? So I would call it fallout, but I wouldn't call breakup, to be honest, right? But I would say like I've had an extreme fallout with a friend, right? But I wouldn't say that I've had a bad breakup, to be honest.
How about you, Shay? Have you had a bad breakup?
I can't recollect having a bad breakup, and I don't know. It kind of sounds somehow like because everybody always says you should have a breakup to experience the other side of life. So it's kind of always
I have to
funny.
serve you breakfast.
Yes, it's kind of always funny to me when I see people. I mean, I don't like to undermine people's emotions or stuff, but when I see people really,
Right.
crying, having like a very bad, I'm like,
You
I
can't
can't
relate.
relate. Like, why do you put so much expectations on on a human being, like to the point where you yourself don't want to move on? You, I don't know.
Mm.
So,
Okay, so let me come back to Chente, right? So you've
Okay.
had a fallout. So I want to ask, what was the worst thing you did after that fallout, right? When you had that fallout, what was the worst thing you ever did?
Hmm. Worst thing in the sense of is he reacting to the
Yes,
fallout?
as a yes, almost like a reactory, what's it called, action that you took after that fallout.
I would say that I isolated myself, to be honest, because I would say that it was truly painful, and it was just misunderstanding. So I judged myself for everything that happened. I judged myself for not being able to communicate properly to this person, right? And it was pretty bad because I was carrying all of the guilt, all of the emotions, even when I knew that this was not me per se. Like, it was not basically my fault in his entirety. I think that everybody had a role to play. But I think the worst thing that I did was that I isolated myself, and it affected me badly. And what I mean that it affected my work, it affected even my well-being, my health. It was truly, truly bad that period. It was bad.
It's interesting because sometimes okay, so let's even give a context to why we're having this conversation today. And I don't know if the video is ready. If it's ready, I'll probably call for it later. Okay, so there was a young lady. She was 40 years old. She had 7 children, and she had 7 children, and she now announced she had like 100,000 followers on social media, and she then announced to say that um she was going ahead with a divorce from her spouse. So when she then said that, of course, I mean, she is this person that always tries to encourage a lot of women that no matter how your age and whatever it is, you can always get your body back. So she's a fitness person. You see, she was really fit. We'll play the video much later. So she's very fit. She's always telling women you can always get your life back. You don't have to look all old and hagged or whatever. You can still look sexy and beautiful even after children, even after you're older and all of that. So she then meets your other guy. He has 4 children. So she has 7, he has 4. And they went on a date. So that was how the husband that she's about to divorce went to the parking lot.
Oh, she was not divorced
She
yet.
had not. So he went to the parking lot and just unalived the both of them. So according to this narrator, he says an off-duty police officer, right, kind of like also unalived the husband. So what he was saying was that now look at it, combination of 7 children from her, 4 children from this other guy, all
That's
11
11
children now
children.
they don't have parents, right? And this was just because there was supposed to be like a breakup. So it just kind of now triggered this question, right? What would be that thing that would trigger you to that point where you do extreme things, right, as a result of a breakup? Because why do people get those extremes? So in this video, I had a lot of questions that I had in my head. The question was, did she move on too quickly? Right? And if she did or she did not, when is a great time to move on? Secondly, was it as a result of anger or jealousy this man acted? Has he had those traits of because for somebody to go and unalive someone, right? I'm thinking in my head, Chente, I'm thinking I have to have that violence inside of me. Do you think a breakup can actually trigger an unknown emotion from somebody else? That's the
Yeah.
question I'm asking. Like, literally, can I become
So,
a murderer because
so,
I am going through a breakup? I don't know, or
so,
it was in me
so,
before.
okay, so when you're actually hot, you're feeling a lot of things, and you're feeling a lot of things intensely, right? You're not just feeling it on a shallow level now. It's now very, very intense, right? Now, maybe that person might have had maybe traits of like anger, but again, when you're hot and you're thinking, oh my God, first of all, you're like, how can this person just move on very, very easily without even thinking about me? That is one that you're thinking about. You're thinking about, oh my God, how am I going to be able to survive without that or without this person? There are a lot of emotions that you're feeling as at that moment. Now, the emotions that you're feeling are not necessarily bad, as I said, right? And I'm gonna come, to this point as an emotions doctor, because your emotions, there is nothing like, we cannot say there is positive or negative emotions, right? Emotions are emotions that are there to guide you, right? But again, because of your feeling things and you do not have emotional intelligence on how to process that emotion, you would go to the extreme by reacting or responding to that emotions badly, which is now when somebody is feeling intense anger, they now go and unalive that person. There are people that have felt anger that have felt jealous, that have felt a
You
lot
just
of
go and take a
intense
swim.
emotion.
Why
Do
must
you
you go and
understand?
unalive somebody because you're angry?
Exactly. Now, so the thing
Don't be
is,
inside the
how do I
ocean and swim.
respond to this emotion that I'm feeling very, very intensely? Sometimes people are not self-aware to that point that they are able to process and say, I am feeling this. How do I now express this in a positive way? There's no emotion that is bad or good. Rather, there are positive and negative responses to emotion. So the negative one is, as he felt that anger, as he felt it so intensely, he went to go and unalive somebody. But the positive way to have to have reacted to that emotion would be, I want to do something. I want to find an outlet that is healthy. Go and swim. Go and break bottles. Go and possibly shout at your cupboard. Those are ways that you can express emotions that you can deem, in a way, that these emotions are kind of negative, but they are not negative. You're just feeling a lot of things.
Absolutely. So I was just gonna say that. So I'll come to you, Shay, because they say that breakups they activate the same brain regions as physical pain. Do you understand? And for some people, emotional attachment or withdrawals will feel like detoxing from an addiction. Is that true? Have you felt that kind of pain before?
I haven't, but I've seen someone go through that pain before, a very close friend of mine. And even I was feeling the pain on his behalf, you know. It was even, it has to do about like a broken marriage, where, this friend of mine you walk into the house and you discover that your wife and kids are not home, right? And you didn't know where they went to, only for you to get a letter somewhere along the line that they've left and they've moved out. At that point in time, I think you stop thinking rationally. That's the truth. Because if not gone you get at that point, it's easy to make that decision and, just because you are in a rage, you are not in control of yourself. It's very easy. Even myself that was not in that situation, I was angry. Not to now talk of the person who feels like I have given a part of my life to this. I have committed a part of myself to this. I have gone into the future and I've thought about this, and I felt like this is where I am. This is my bus stop, and all of a sudden somebody just takes that from you. Sometimes, right, we don't know the things we can do when we are under immense pressure.
This thing you said, because there's something around ego and identity crisis, right? What you just said, because losing relationship is almost like you're losing the identity
A part of you.
built,
like
around yourself.
Imagine you having a hand. This is your hand. This is the person you lay on, and all of a sudden, from nowhere, somebody just took cutlass
and cut it sharp.
The way you would react at that point. We see sometimes in not even movies, like real life, like when they severe for like 5 minutes, you don't know what has happened to you. It's just emotions driving your reaction to whatever has happened. I feel it's like the same thing too.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I'm sure that's America. Easy access to gun, everything. I'm sorry, but if it was like in Nigeria, and the person just did that, and you saw the person crossing road, and you're in a car or something, sometimes those are the kind of.
But Shay, something just occurred to me. Okay, she must have been very active on social media, because except maybe he actually trailed her from home. Because sometimes, again, this is why they say sometimes don't post everything, because your location, especially live locations and all of that, you never can tell what is going on. But you see, I hear that the video is ready. I want us to just quickly take a look at this video, then we'll come back to the conversation. Stay with us.
Okay, before Big Daddy goes off on my usual rant, let me start out by saying condolences to the family. This was a totally unneeded loss of life. Now, you remember that young lady from the very beginning of my video? The same young lady that's in this corner? Gloria Zamora was 40 years old with 7 kids. And all she ever tried to do is inspire young ladies to live out their fitness journey while being confident and sexy no matter how old you are. This woman had over 100,000 followers. The message was to keep your head up. Now, she just declared to everybody that she was divorcing her husband, Thomas Lazarga, right? So while this young lady was on a date at this popular sushi restaurant in California with Hector Garduna, Mr. Hector had 4 kids of his own. So that's 11 kids between them. At the conclusion of their date, her estranged husband tracked them down and gunned them down in the parking lot, which he ended up losing his life also to an off-duty sheriff deputy. Now, this lesson goes for men as well as for women. I don't do the whole victim blaming, but there's a lot of ways you can look at this. I don't know the particulars. I don't know how long she knew Hector and all this other stuff. We're not going down that road. But what I say is, ladies as well as gentlemen, you know the previous relationship that you were in. You know this man or this woman was not right upstairs. I always tell people, I don't want you not to live your life. I'm not telling you that. But you might want to wait till things simmer down first before moving on. You might want to wait. Same thing, fellas. If you know this woman is fresh off a divorce, or you know details that her husband is kind of thrown off, nobody needs to be scared of nobody, but you need to be realistic. We live in a world where people do not mind taking your life. You got to ask yourself, is it worth it? This is overly sad because there are 11 kids that lost their parents. But leave your comment in the comment section. But y'all grown, they're going to do what y'all want to do.
So I mean, you've listened to the audio. So there was something he raised there when he said that if a woman is coming out fresh out of a divorce, right? I think the man might need to wait out, he has to simmer down a bit, let the things settle. Is that really it? Is that really the reason, for this?
It's not. Because there are no better time, right?
Yeah.
And there are sometimes you feel like you've healed till you see that person. Or till you're in a situation that triggers that emotions again. And it feels fresh all over again. It could be 10 years, it could be 15 years down the line, it could be 5 years down the line. And you feel like, I'm healed, I've moved on, everybody can go their way. Then you probably go for a dinner or you go for a lunch somewhere and you see the girl with her new husband, all of you, and the things that she didn't do with you, she's doing with this other guy, and
It can trigger anything. Wow.
So I don't think it's really
It's
about
a thing of
there's a good time
Yeah.
or there's no good time, and you see some people who are actually comfortable, who are mentally stable, who are very okay. From the next week, they're the ones even saying, "Alpha, have you found somebody? What's the plan?" They've all healed, but you can't do that for
this.
you can't do that for this. And a person that is hurt, and it could be 10 years, it could be 15 years. It's not really about jumping. It's not the time frame that has to do.
So Chente, let me come to you, right? Because again, when he said something around you know who you were married to, do we really know who we are married to when it comes to the extent to which somebody's emotions can be triggered? Because is it possible that for some strange reason that this was a new behavior? Maybe he had never shown, or there would have been some signs of violence within that marriage. Is it possible that, because I feel like sometimes you never can tell what somebody is capable of, like you rightly said about pressure, until that pressure is really, really applied. So Chente, do you think that it is possible that this was a new behavior, or do you think that this man had some traces of violence within him, whilst they were in that marriage?
To be honest, right, I can't tell, right? And the reason why I can't tell is that people truly change. And the reason why I say this is that people are learning about themselves every day. Situations of life changes you to be another person. I'm sure that there are times in our life, right, where you look back and you be like, hey, I used to be this person, or I miss the kind of person that I used to be. Because first of all, situations of life have dealt with you. Maybe grief, maybe loss, maybe bad days, just plenty things that is just dealing with you, or heartbreak or things, right? The thing is that, right, sometimes people actually change, being pushed to the extreme.
Yeah.
Sometimes they lose themselves, sometimes they become another person, right? And so you can't truly know 100% of who your partner is, because they themselves, they
They
learn
don't
things
know.
about themselves every single day. They
They don't
learn things.
know.
So they might have been traces, but the woman may not have seen that, oh, it would
This
get
man
to
has the
this
capacity
level.
to do this. Yeah.
Exactly. It would get to this level until that situation happened and it pushed him, or it changed him to another type of person that nobody could recognize. It's true. And there was something that she actually said, right, that I just want to bring back. He said something about, about that loss, about if that person leaves you, it feels like a part of you have truly left. I feel like there's a problem with that. And why I say that is that I think that people have learned to build their life around their partner. And I think that we are not talking about this enough. And what do I mean? I think that people have learned to build their identity around that person. And so you had friends before, you had a life before, but when somebody comes into your life, all of a sudden that person is your world. And I think that maybe this is an issue, or this was the issue. I'm just saying this may have been the issue that had led to this, right? Maybe this man had built his entire identity about, being with this woman. And so when that person actually left, there's a part of him that can't function without this person. Like, I can't just see myself
So,
functioning without this person.
how do you live with someone, for instance, you've been there 20 years in marriage, 15 years in marriage, 10 years in marriage, and not have an identity around that person? Like, literally,
No.
That's
you
that's
always,
See
that's
what I'm
exactly what
saying,
I was
right?
about to say.
yeah,
7 freaking kids.
7 children,
See
like,
what I'm
literally. So
saying?
this, no, I get you, no, and you are spot on, Chente. You are very right, because one of the biggest things that I see is that the man feels, I cannot function without this woman. So if I
Exactly.
cannot
And there's no
function
more
without
sense
you,
of
then you
self.
also
Nobody.
cannot function,
Yeah.
right? But
Exactly.
you see, and there's just a lot of mix up here. You said something, Chenten, and I want to bring it back, because for somebody like me, let me tell you, I used to be very emotionally attached to people. But when you have dealt with people that consistently, right, kind of like show you who they are in terms of, so
Mhm.
now the problem I'm having now is that people around me say I have zero emotions, but I am in a better place, because you see, when I used to attach myself emotionally to people, it was almost like, and because I am a very, very emotional. When I connect with you, you see, you cannot relate, because that part of me, I had to intentionally kill it. Do you understand? If I attach with you, I can be with you forever. Nothing will change that relationship, right? But I've now learned that sometimes you must also match people's energy. It's not everybody that has the capacity to love the way I would love. So I'm beginning to now address you the way you are. If you show me love, I show you love. If you understand, so I'm not now giving too much of myself, and that
Yeah.
has helped me self-regulate emotionally.
And protect
You
yourself.
understand? And protect my emotions. Because I'm that kind of person that might do really extreme things if I'm emotionally hurt, right? Because literally I can be there days sulking and all of that. And only God knows what kind of thoughts can come afterwards, right? But Chente, you always talk about childhood traumas, right?
Mhm.
Right? So is it possible that this might also be something that this guy is reading this as a form of rejection, or something that he probably ran away from? Because I feel like this thing is deeper than just her meeting another guy. It's deeper than that. There must have been something that must have triggered whatever it, because for you to go and get guns and unalive people, I mean, because you would have thought about
All
all
the
the
scenarios.
all the scenarios and what the consequences of your actions, and yet you still went ahead to carry out that plan. So there must be something
So
deeper, right? So yeah.
yes, right. I cannot categorically say it's possibly childhood trauma that had caused it, but it may be a major factor, right? And I'm sure that we have heard things about attachment styles, and attachment styles are just the way that we bond with our caretakers while growing up, right? And because of that way that we bonded with our caretakers, we might be bound to act in that way all through our life, even when we get married and stuff. So there are things called, avoidance, attachments. Those are people that they do not want to be, they want to run away from anything intimacy. They also might be anxious attachment styles, right? There is disorganized attachment style. There is also the secure one, right? Which will say the healthy one. But if we say that this person has an anxious attachment style, an anxious attachment style are most of those people that is always, oh my God, what am I going to do if this person leaves me? How am I going to survive? And so you are clinging to them. It might be that this is what he actually felt, right? Oh my God, how do I function without this person? How do I live without them? I don't have an identity. Everything has to be around this person. It is now where you now get the idea of building your life around this person. Like, you don't know yourself again. This person is your friend. This person is your wife. This person is your lover. This person is everything. But you have forgotten that you have to have a sense of self. And sense of self means outside of this person, I am still a human being. And the reason why it
And
would
now
even
now
hurt
una
more
start say the
is
two shall become
because
one
of
now.
you have built yourself around this person to the point where you don't know yourself anymore. You can't function without this person. And so when this person leaves you, it feels like there's a part of you that truly left. Now, I'm saying that if this person was around maybe the secure one where this person will still feel hurt that this person left, but regardless, you will know that no matter the hurt, I can still function even if this person is not in my life. It is that sense of self that is truly lost. The idea that I can't truly do without this person,
Function.
and that can actually push them to limits, is that if you can't have me, if we're not
No
doing
one
this,
else.
then we'll die together. I will kill you and kill myself, and
But
it's over.
Leo, Romeo and Juliet. I'm telling you.
Yeah, and all these things. You know how many people died because one person took somebody's wife and everybody just went ballistic and started killing each other.
It is well. You know what? Let's go on a very short break. When we come back from that break, we'll continue this amazing conversation. Stay with us. Be right back.
This season on Heartlines, we're committed to making a difference in people's lives. So Heartlines, in partnership with Reda Consult, is offering 12 free slots of counseling every quarter for people in need of professional counseling. Additionally, we're taking on 2 pro bono cases for individuals navigating a challenging divorce. To participate, please send an email to counsel@vedaconsult.com with your story. Our team will carefully review all submissions and will contact all the shortlisted candidates. Heartlines is live Mondays to Fridays at 10 p.m. So engage with us.
Thanks for staying with us on Heartlines.
All right, thanks for staying tuned. Now, if you just tuned in, we're having a conversation around, what triggers emotions, extreme emotions, especially after a breakup. That's the conversation. Remember, you can join this conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. Our phone lines are also now open. You can call us on 07025 or 0701-424-2420. Please be a part of the conversation. You can also leave us a comment on YouTube. We will read out your comment and, just hear what you have to say about this conversation. Now, Shay, when Chente was talking about attachment type, let's say my own avoidance, because we detach coldly.
Like, you want to run away. You don't want somebody to.
I don't have
you will be
because
feeling like, hey God, dude.
Because I can't function. I can't function when I'm emotionally hurt, right? It takes away because I'm a creative. So if I am emotionally hurt, I cannot function.
You can't.
So that's why it's easy for me I easily forgive people, because I cannot just put you. You see the space where I go put you. I need that space to think creatively. So my sister wonders how I'm able to People that have hurt me in the past and I'm still able to talk to them normally, I say yes, because it is for my own mental sanity. And I need to be able to clearly, just, differentiate, compartmentalize them and keep them where they are. So it has helped me over the years, right? But when I was growing up, I used to have a lot of anger issues. In fact, my mom used to say that I have a heart of stone, you know, because every time I would just be, carrying my face. I used to squeeze my face a lot and all of that. But I think as I grew older and I started understanding life, then of course I did a few mind reprogramming trainings that helped me see life differently. It just kind of helped. Because in all honesty, there is absolutely nothing, and I mean nothing, anyone will do to me today that will trigger me to go and unalive somebody. It is not going to happen. No matter what, you understand, because of where I have grown to emotionally, I know that there are some things that I will never do. The worst I can do is just walk away and pretend like you do not exist. You understand? Like,
You're in
put
charge of your emotions.
you understand? Thank you. Because you see, I always say that these are emotional weaknesses. That is emotional infancy for me. You understand? That because somebody did something, it's just like a man walks into a room and on the bed he meets his wife making love to another man. Do you understand? So what thing you can't do? You don't go think, say, if I unalive these people, me say go jail. No, now you just carry your load, come on. I have been in those situations, and in all fairness, Sheyi, I carry my load and I waka come out.
You've been in those
Yes,
situations?
those situations on 2 occasions.
Okay.
But the boyfriend I
The
was
hardest
dating,
form of
the boyfriend I was dating, you know what somebody now told me? The person said, you could just come on your cloth, tie wrapper, then maybe they continue what they do. Say that then go park their locomotive. I said, no, sorry. Unfortunately, I was not raised that way. I walked in
But
and I saw the action. I just look. I just locked door back.
Wow.
I just come out. But some other person go carry knife, carry this. So the reason I'm going to all of this is how the role of your upbringing, right? What does it play in managing your emotions when it comes to reactions towards things that hurt you emotionally? What's the role of
it
your
does a
upbringing?
lot of things.
Chente, let me hear Shady and I'll come back to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
okay, so upbringing is everything, right? Even when you don't get it when you're going through it, sometimes later in life, right, it finds a way to come back in. You realize that sometimes growing up, the things that your parents say, don't do this, you do it at that early stage. Then sometimes later in life, you are the one that is now preaching that same thing. Don't do it. So there was something my mom used to tell us growing up. And I used to also have rage, I used to black out when I'm in my fits of rage. I don't get angry easily. So I think that has kind of, and I think I'm a bit emotional. So my emotional channels into rage when I'm hurt, and I just black out. I don't see anybody. I don't know who is who until I've fully, yes, until that anger has left before I'm now back to my normal self. And sometimes I start apologizing for the things I did. But one thing that, helped me was also upbringing. My mom used to say when we were growing up that your life is never truly your life. And that a lot of people, the life that you call your own, right, as you grow older, you realize a lot of people are connected to that life. And if anything happens to that life that you are saying is my life, is my life, you begin to point out 2, 3, 4, 5 people that if anything happens to you, they are permanently damaged. Or if you do anything, you've damaged possibly an entire generation of carrying over things that they were not supposed to do because you could not control your emotions, or because you took an action that was like, my life is my life. So that always rang in my head. And it kind of helped me make decisions when I want to make decisions. And when I feel like I'm getting there, I'll be like, guy, I start talking to myself. I start taking myself out of the scenario. But I also want us to, there's something I always say, which is, I might have to refer to the Bible. Pray to not be tested more than your strength can carry.
The Lord even said it, that He will not give me the temptation that I cannot bear.
Because some people is emotions. Some people is their money. Some people, they built their life around their family. You can touch everything. You can take their money. You can take their business. But you come for their kid, they lose it. Do you get what I'm saying? So let's yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We are looking at it in terms of relationship. You date me, and that's it, and that's it. I'm sorry, I think I've grown maturely. I can say I'm in a better space, but I can't say what I would do if you come for my kid.
Sheyi, I will give you an example.
Yeah,
Hey.
So, and I still see people. I listen to people's stories, and I'm amazed about how people can control this thing we call emotions. I saw sometimes not too long ago where somebody killed somebody's son, and he went to hug the person and say, I forgive you.
God, you know that I cannot bear that kind of temptation.
And he
Don't
says,
tempt me with that.
And he says, I forgive you. And I know my son will not. And I'm like,
hey, that's a whole new level.
This one, Jesus kind of, I'm not sure I can.
No, I don't think I can. And God truly will not bring this kind of temptation my way. Father, you know me. Please, God, you know.
So for some people, it's money. For some people, it's relationship. So for some people, it's a family. Like, I remember when I used to fight in secondary school. It still happened recently. And one of my old schoolmates, the fight I used to fight is not fight that has to do with me. It's fight that you touch my friend, you injure my brother.
You're that.
That's my own kind of fight,
Anybody that's around you.
Yeah, you did this to my guy. That is my own kind of fight. So it is different. It might not be relationship. It might not be, for me, relationship. If you say you're not doing...
But I think, and Chente, let me come to you. I think when it comes to love relationship between, couples, right? I feel like that relationship is usually... Because I used to say something that when people, friends and all these people, siblings even self, when they upset me, it doesn't eat me up as much as the person that I'm dating or I'm married to. Do you understand? That hurts me 10 times more. Is it because that maybe over the years I've grown to bond with that person and all of that? Because why do relationships that are like sexual relationships, love relationships, why do they trigger us so much? You see a lot of videos. In fact, if you go online, you'll see some kind of videos. I'm saying, nothing in this world will make me do this.
Kind of thing.
Never. I used to brag. I said they never born the man. He has not been born. The man that will make me, I will not say, I will go, leave my boyfriend, leave my husband alone. Never. They never born that man. I know I left that WhatsApp group a long time ago. I cannot be that person. But I honestly want to understand why I see a lot of people do that. So Chente, the question is it because this relationship is a lot more intimate? That's why it's able to emote that kind of what's it called?
Actually.
Rage whenever there's go ahead.
So as I was saying, right, when you are into something deeper, you feel things deeper, right? And the thing is that, right, the reason why that relationship may be very, very intense, especially when it's a sexual relationship and you begin to feel things deeper, is because of the form of intimacy that you shared with this person. First of all, right, relationship comes with a lot of vulnerability. It's coming with this person knows you. This person, you've built a life with this person in a way. This person knows you. You've been vulnerable to this person. There's nothing you've not told this person. Imagine this person betrays you. The hurt that you feel is times 10 deeper. Let me give an example. Imagine somebody that is random on the street, or all of these Lagos conductor that used to just disrespect people and they call you bastard, they are shouting at you. I would just look at it like, I want to fight. You said you bastard. But imagine those same hurtful words are coming from your partner. The reason why you feel that way is because of what you feel for this person. Because the Lagos conductor, you're not feeling anything for.
I
Like,
don't have any business with the person. Yeah.
do you understand? I don't have any business, so it doesn't concern me. Do whatever you want to say or say whatever you want to say. But the reason why you would feel hurt, right? And that is why people feel hurt when somebody that is loved, does something to them, is because of the intimacy that you actually share with this person. If it's your family member, you feel, because I feel like I've known you all of my life. I don't feel like you should be able to do this to me. If it's a loved one, you are like, oh my God, like I'm vulnerable to the point, or I trust you to the point where I believe that you're not going to do anything intentional to actually hurt me, but you're doing this, and that is why you are feeling things deeper. So yes, it's because of the intimacy that you've actually shared with that person. That is why you feel things a lot more deeper.
More deeper. Shay, what
Yeah.
about gender? And I'll come back to you, Chente. What do you think? Do you think gender plays a role in these things in terms of like how the man will react and how the woman will react? You know why I ask? Men are trained to bottle up emotions. So it is possible that this outburst is like he don't they gather am since, and this one I'm just gonna let it out. Do you get my point? So the reaction would it have been different if it was the woman, if it was the man? I mean, like the gender place.
Okay, so before we
Go into
go
gender,
to that, let me just quickly
Touch on what-
touch on what Chente was saying, which is I feel emotions also, we need to leave room for growth. For you to be able to make that statement where a man can never take me to do this, in a way you must have experienced some kind of hurt. Some people are experiencing that hurt for the first time, so they don't know how to handle that kind of emotions. Somebody that they've hurt like 2-3 times, you don't gather the experience for the hurt. Say nothing, I beg, they carry yourself, they go. You yourself don't do waiting, every other person don't do me before. In a way, experience has grown. The way if that guy, I'll be surprised that guy has probably never been that guy. Yes, that shot the
I
girl
see the
and
hot wife now.
yeah, you understand. He probably has never experienced that kind of grief or that kind of heartbreak before. So being able to manage that emotions completely was new to him. Do you understand? And so there's always an aspect of growth that has to do with those kind of
So
emotions.
it's good we should be having breakup every
Sometimes
two
it's
market
good.
days.
Sometimes it's good so that you learn you know how deep you can get. And although it might not necessarily be,
frequent. No, but I think it's good to be frequent now.
so that you know how to handle the emotions if it comes, you know how to carry yourself and move on. Now back to gender. We all have different ways we deal with hurts. Men are more, instantly jungle justice as it happens, back. Women are more slow poisoned when it comes to dealing with hurt, which is why you see that a man hurt a woman, right? She can't handle him physically. For some reason, she starts poisoning him. He's not able to function. We see a lot of all those kind of stories. Slowly. Or she does as if she's okay and starts planning. And at his weakest point, she
That's when
eats
she
him.
strikes.
But a man is quickly, back, as they do me, I give it to you, back. So,
Sorry.
every gender has the way
They respond.
low key kind of respond to it. And that is not to say sometimes a gender can pick up what usually is not their style of responding to. Yeah, I've also seen a girl who brought her bottle and wanted to
Yes,
stab with
nah.
her boyfriend and was going to
Did you
burn
not see the video? I saw a video where the girl went to damage the guy's
Uh-huh.
Mercedes.
and was going to burn
his windshield, his windows.
So
She destroyed everything. But Chinte, let me come to you on this gender conversation, right? Do you think that gender roles also came up in this conversation? Because
Yes, actually. Yes. So Here is the thing that I feel, right? Just as you said, I think that men have actually learned to actually bottle up their emotions. And the reason why it's easier for women to express things is because it's acceptable, right? I feel like women have been conditioned to, like, feel your feelings is okay. But when it comes to a man, in that sense, I think that there is this masculinity that has attached itself to men's emotion. And I mean, in the sense of, men are allowed to feel a certain type, like, if you feel like, men are allowed to be aggressive in a way, right? The way a man should express his emotions is in his masculinity, and that will bring up some form of aggression, anger. When they say be a man, they're telling you that you should, buff up, you should express it in a way, kind of, right? But nobody is saying you can actually express your emotions by crying, right? That is part of an emotion, right? By possibly speaking to someone, by, in other little ways, actually. So I think that the gender, right, has played a big role in how people actually express their emotions. It has, in a lot of ways. Women are more open, and that is why you not see a lot of women doing this type of things, because they've learned to express their emotions in healthy ways. But a man is conditioned to possibly express his emotion through aggression, through being tough, and that is why when all of these type of things happen, they react in this way.
Well, I wanted to just ask a general question. Well, as we wrap up this conversation, is it not okay for people to just move on? Because you know why I say this? Because sometimes, again, moving on might be closure for that person. Okay, let me just know that this chapter, I'm not revisiting that chapter again. Let me just find someone, that I can start all over again and build again. Do you understand? Like, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, to put my life on hold, because we don't even know the conditions to which this breakup even happened in the first place, where she got to the stage where she was filing for a divorce. Because you see, I tell people all the time, you cannot beat me and tell me how you want me to
Me too.
cry.
Yes.
You understand? There must have been something
Yes.
that would have triggered
Yes.
the what's it called? The call for a divorce. So it has happened. You move on and count your losses. Because there are some times you just tell yourself, come on, this one I don't go for. This one I lost a good one. And you move on. Because once a woman detached herself or detaches herself from you emotionally, it's very difficult for her to come back to you and connect with you emotionally. So the best you can do, or the worst, the best you can do is try to just stay friends with her, and for the sake of your children, right? Except maybe those kids were not his. Because if you were thinking, and these are your children, what were you thinking when you decided to say you wanted to go on a live? And these are the things that we say that people need to learn: conflict management. They need to learn how to move on. And don't follow the script of the world. I was telling somebody this thing, which day? I was saying that, you see, the way honestly, I am wired. As I said to you, I'm not wired to hold on to grudges. I'm not wired to hold on to people that hurt me and all of that. But you see, the way the society expects you to react to hurt and all of that, they expect you to be violent. That's why you see all these cases, endless cases of divorce cases in court, busy insulting each other on social media. It doesn't have to be. I can divorce you today, Sheyi, and I'm smiling with you. We're going for lunch, we're going for dinner tomorrow. You understand? And nothing says that is also not okay. Why do we have to make everything about a script that the world has painted that this is how it should, yes, this is how you should respond to situation? Because if not for the world painting this thing, I don't know what will push me to the point where I would say, I want to go and unalive somebody else just because she's trying to move on. It doesn't make any sense. It's the height of immaturity. Sadly, the person is gone. We can't even call to even ask what was going on in your head. Well, let's wrap up the conversation. So, Chente, if you had one final thing to say, what would that be?
Yes. So for all of this, right? What I'm just gonna say is build emotional intelligence. To be honest, right? And the height of emotional intelligence is you understanding that whatever anybody does, I'm in control of my action. I'm in control of my emotion. Even if this person is at my front and saying, you are a bastard, do what you want, is understanding that I am in control of how I act towards this person, how I feel towards this person. That is the height of emotional intelligence. And I'm telling people that you need to put in the work. You need to do that. You need to go for therapy. It's important. As I said, right, a lot of your childhood trauma, a lot of things, how you've learned how to, a lot of it is, is going to be connected on how you react to things like this. And that is why it's important to go and heal, go on the journey. Understand that people have the right to their own opinion. You can be in a marriage of 10 years and somebody will say, I want to work out, and there's nothing you can do. What you can do is to control yourself and move on from that. It's important. And also, right, have a sense of self. Don't build your life around another person.
Somebody else,
Right?
yeah.
Yes,
Absolutely.
around somebody. Don't build your life around. So have a sense of self. Understand that you can be with this person, but you have your own life. So that if this person makes a decision tomorrow, you will be hurt, but you are not as hurt to push yourself to do something drastic, because you know that you have your own life and you can function well even without this person.
Absolutely. Che, your final thoughts?
It takes a lot more strength to walk away than to act. The biggest strength is in wanting to do something and holding
Restraining
yourself
yourself.
back from doing it. And I think everybody should strive to get to that level of emotional
Strength,
intelligence and strength where, the first emotions that come to you, even not just aggression, even talking, the first thing you want to say is talk. It takes a lot more strength to hold yourself back and say, no, I don't want to say it now. I don't want to. Let me go and think about it before talking. So I think everybody should strive and get to that level.
You know why I'm smiling? Because, Chinti and Che, you guys just nicely wrapped up the conversation. I smile because, for the longest of time, I used to think I had a problem. If you say something very bad to me, I take my time. I can take 3 days, 4 days, 1 week before I'll come back to that conversation. I will keep quiet. I will sit down. I will process what you said.
Go back
so that
and
when I'm
forth with
talking
yourself.
to you. So I now learned it that I am not a reactionary person. I respond to situations. So you don't do your own, Abi? Hey, that's not your own. I will respond to you. I will not react. Because when you are reacting to people, that's when you start to find that you're always doing things. And that's when you start to see all those irrationalities. When you are reactive, you need to learn the act of responding to situations. And that's what Chente was talking
I
about,
like
emotional
that.
intelligence. You have to be very intentional. It's something that can be built. And it's
it
something,
is.
because in the end,
It is.
now who lose now? In the end, now who lose? Now you go still lose. Person hurt you, and you will see they carry the person for mind. It doesn't make any sense. So I think we can wrap up here and just say that, please, if you have any emotional thing that you're bottling up and all of that, and you want to talk to someone, please send us an email. It's counsel@vedaconsult.com. That is the email you can send. We have amazing counselors. They can also, even if they're not counselors, they can listen to you, and talk to you. And we also have some counselors that are professionals as well. Very important, please. This thing that we call emotional intelligence, emotional balance, and all of that, emotional strength is very important for your survival as a human being. You can't function if you're not in control of your emotions. You need to be able to be in control of your emotions to function, especially in this very, very crazy world that we're in. All right, so please send us that email. Then again, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to share this link to whoever you think needs to hear this tonight. Enjoy the rest of your evening.